So I hosted one of the biggest modded Minecraft raid events to ever take place. And you might be thinking, geez, Kuba, that's my name by the way, how can you be out here making these sort of claims? Well, considering we had a custom-built structure from 0 to world height, released custom schematics, held competitions for secret information, and had over 20 players raiding the same location at once, I think we're up there on the modded raid event scale. So trust me, you're going to want to sit back and keep watching this video as we go through the plan, setup, and the actual event. It was insane. After the success of our first event, I decided to keep the ball rolling with an even bigger event for the following week. I knew I wanted to do a raid event because I always find it fun trying to break into a heavily armored base, but I wasn't sure what theme to go for. Typically, a raid event is more focused around a base in the overworld or than ever. Basic tier 5 walls with a handful of anti-player defenses. While that is fine on most servers, the players on the modded Anarchy server that I ran were like wild animals. With the Anarchy champion prefix up for grabs, everybody was trying their absolute hardest using techniques and gear other players could only dream of. Unfortunately, this did mean that if we built a normal, heavily defended base, like the ones you normally see, it would get evaporated within seconds. Literally, paper mache would probably have a better chance. Luckily for us, the players had one minor inconvenience in their way. I was the person building the base. My modded Minecraft knowledge combined with my passion for extravagant builds made sure to keep every player on their toes when approaching this raid event. Now, consider the fact that I had just entered my villain arc, and you can imagine the things I had ticking away in my head. After some time deliberating, I decided the theme for the raid event will be a space heist. I would build a cool spaceship, have a backstory for the event, and fill it with all sorts of painful defenses. I started by creating a little model of the ship, you know, nothing crazy, just kind of went like a long cylinder tube so I could fill it with different floors, like, I don't know, like 8 thrusters and a couple space rings to complete that top-end spaceship vibe. You know, nothing too crazy. After making the model, I figured, you know what, I might as well start building, you know, it's only 1 in the morning, I can probably get a little bit of building done. I wasn't sure where to start, so I just kind of started throwing out color palettes and different shapes before ending up with this. Now, this looked quite cool, and I was like, oh, this is like a really cool like ship design. I can just scale this up a little bit, and we'll have it done. But, I mean, you know, that's all we need to do. Just, this looks good, scale it up, donezo. Kind of looks like a thruster, doesn't it? Yeah, it led to another. 8 hours later, I ended up making this absolute behemoth of a spaceship. So, little known fact about me, I'm actually quite known for being a total maniac in modded Minecraft, but in reality, I'm a maniac in Minecraft as a whole. Now, you might be wondering, how the hell did I build this massive ship all on my own? For God's sake, this thing stretches from the void to the world height limit. Well, little known fact about me, I've actually had a lot of experience building larger scale builds. Some of you might remember the old build team Fire UK. This team was responsible for building all sorts of famous Minecraft builds, like the Yogs Labs, several Mayanite builds, Fire City and Syndicate's Minecraft project series, and so many more. These guys were absolute legends, and the originators of a lot of different Minecraft building techniques we still use to this day. And if I just divert your attention to this corner of this video on the Fire UK channel, hey, it's your boy confirming that wizards have rights. So yeah, I was on the Fire UK server. I was in no way anyone notable on that server, but I did take part in their weekly build challenges and some of their massive projects. In fact, the last project I worked on was this map made for Captain Sparkle's music videos. I mean, not a single one of my finished builds featured in the video, since Mr. Sparkles decided to only really use the docks in his music video. You know what, this has been a long time coming. Let me complain a little bit. This was kind of the final hurrah for Fire UK as a full team effort. Like, after this, it all kind of just faded away. The team broke up, it all went downhill. Naturally, everybody tried their absolute hardest when creating this map. I mean, I remember staring at the giant gates, changing their stair positions to make the pattern interlock more naturally. Matt going out of his way to help me utilize World Edit to better build with fences, and cycling through the different custom textures that we had for each block to create a more detailed maze on the inside of the mineshaft system. But in the end, the docks were the main focus. I'm not salty, but those Polish salt mines are calling my name. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh right, yeah, the raid event. So yeah, working on all those projects in the past meant I had some experience with massive scale, allowing me to complete this build in record time. Now all I had to do was add some floors. I settled on like 20 different floors and gave each floor a specific purpose. I mean, some floors did repeat, like 2 smaller power generators and a main power generator somewhere in the middle. I even came up with a cool idea to use a custom force field to disable certain items so that people couldn't use certain things in the area. Okay, yeah, so something like that doesn't actually exist on the server, but I'm sure I could easily fake one using some command blocks and plugins, leading me to dedicate 2 floors to the project. I decided to make it block the use of items like the atomic disassemblers, power fists, various teleport methods, making it a drastically harder raid than normal. I also decided to make the field consume ender pearls and ender pearl-like items as fuel, and other than someone losing over 50,000 ender pearls to the field by accident, the system worked perfectly. The system even blocked all bombs, including nukes. Not like nukes would matter much, the sheer scale of the ship and its tough, 3-block thick, reinforced stone exoskeleton made the ship tougher than anybody could have expected. I color-coded the rooms and told my staff team to start building the insides of the ship. I worked on the promotion materials, releasing custom schematics and secret messages, and creating a fake character called Captain Rack Harness, who has no affiliation to any other flamboyant space boy from any other show that has recently been declining in quality. Using the facade of Captain Rack Harness, I started a narrative implying he could get more information on any given floor of the ship. Naturally, the T's secret floor made everybody curious, so that's the floor that won. But the second option was totally unexpected. People were interested in the food court, and like, not even a little interested. There were full-on discussions going on about it in general. I ended up adding some notch apples to the food court because I felt bad for people prioritizing it over the other floors. As more and more information was teased, I decided to start looking at what the staff team had built. The plan was to just go through, have a look at the builds they've done, maybe pretty them up a little bit, add a few details here and there. I built the entire rest of the ship, so, shouldn't be too bad to go through and just add a little bit here and there. But little did I know, nobody built anything! Nope, sorry, that's a lie. Meatman built the food court, but the rest of the ship was entirely bare because its metaphor lost his phone at a taco stand or something, and Sai said, well, I'm bad at building, so I didn't bother. The event was going to start in about a day, and we had a massive ship with empty floors. To avoid any controversies and or demonstrations of me breaking several war crimes through speech alone, let's just say my anger carried us through the building process. And of course by us, I mean me, myself, and I. I managed to crank out the remaining 19 floors all by myself before shouting at Sai to help me set up turrets and other defenses around on each floor. And just like magic, the event was ready to start. The bottom floor was the engine room, an easy to traverse room if you had the right gear, but without Faraday armor, you would be fried instantly. Above that we had the first space ring access. The first power generation room, ignore the lacking big reactors, there was a glitch post-raid. Then there was a guard room on top of that, also known as what the fuck space is wacky room. The first force field emitter room, artifact storage, an ore production facility where I might have accidentally left a creative gas tank. The clone bay with a clone of myself, Sai, Meatman, and its metaphor. The galaxy famous food court with a fridge card. A gift shop featuring the latest in cobble transportation technology. The main mechanism fusion reactor powering the ship, a genetics lab with some crazy custom mobs, the player landing bay with an identification system and creepy Enderman heads, the ship hangar with a fuel refinery system, above that was the secret vault, yep, that's where it was, a trophy room made out of literal nightmares, another force field emitter, the armory featuring a full max set of power armor made invisible at the back of the room. I'm pretty sure nobody ever grabbed that. And the final power generator room. Yeah, the extreme reactor is missing again, but just ignore that, it's fine. It was there for the raid, I promise. And finally, the top of the ship, a lovely Terra Dome. Now, you might have noticed this room was labeled as extremely dangerous. Each tree in this dome, along with the top light and some of the stones, hide a fully maxed railgun. There is also a custom guard several times stronger than the default ones, labeled Chad. I was gonna call him Sith Lord Chad, but Sai said no. He's a big bully. Several teams started forming, all creating elaborate plans, selecting floors to try and board and paths that they would take to prioritize loot and safety based on the release schematics. Some of the teams were planning on going through all the different power generator rooms and making sure that all the turrets get disabled when they run out of energy. Others planned to go to the force field emitters and disable them so that they could use nukes and blow up the whole ship. Some planned to run through every single floor, trying to determine where the secret vault was and start mining through walls to try and find it. MC Gamer was actually planning on not dying instantly this time. And of course, some people decided to aim for the fucking food court. It's a food court. They serve food. Why would you go to the food court? All these different plans is exactly what I wanted to see leading up to the event, as it made everybody really excited. On the day of the event, Captain Rack Harness flew a stolen escape pod into range of the ship and opened up a teleporter to allow players to get close enough to the ship for the raid. Now, this is where I could sit back and enjoy the show. All the players had their plans, but there is one issue with a plan. Everyone has a plan until they get hit with a ship taller than their render distance can handle. Then it's all fucky wookie from there. Naturally, everybody started flying around like madmen, avoiding lasers and searching for ways into the ship. MC Gamer, I don't know, tripped or something. I don't even know if he ever got onto the ship. If he did, he didn't last long.
What the hell?
Some of the more confident players flew straight to the top to try and take out the most dangerous portion of the ship first. It didn't work out. People were murdering each other all over the ship. I mean, Val went on a killing spree, killing like 17 different people. Commander Duck and Iki had an intense clash. Oh, cool. That seems kind of familiar. And Iki's dead. Pizza Plays just kind of got shot in the trophy room a bunch. Moonkai just kind of struggled the entire time. After about an hour of non-stop action, people managed to turn off the force field emitters, enabling all banned items including nukes. Joey Box went on a rampage bombing every room that he could. And in the process, he created this absolute gem. Shame that nuclear bombs aren't really designed to defend you. Quite frankly, the number of deaths that occurred were off the charts, mainly because everything there was designed to kill you. The turrets, the wires, the custom guards. We even had Tesla coils that would just burn through people if they weren't wearing Faraday armor, which nobody was. Some people had gotten rather cocky over the previous 2 weeks of the server, thinking themselves to be completely immortal. They were very much taken by surprise when they were killed like they were nothing. Everyone's plans failed, and people with no plan got kicked down. The carnage was beautiful, but there was one man making his way through the ship. He was slowly going through floor by floor, and his name? Commander Duck. He snuck around the whole ship, finally finding the vault, 2 hours after the event started. With Moonkai watching his back, they managed to sneak into the vault, avoiding and destroying all the railguns in their way. After looting the vault, they trapped the vault guard and started beating him up. This action labelled Commander Duck as the MVP for the raid, earning him some custom lore items on the server. With this heroic action behind him, the raid slowly started to settle down. Captain Rack Harness announced that the ship had been slain, and everybody went home. Well, I say that everybody went home, but literally hours after the event had finished, there were still scavengers running around looting bits of the ship. The ship was so massive that there was so much loot still there. Heck, some people were tearing up the walls because that reinforced stone was really hard to get. After letting the scavengers have most of their fun, we activated some red matter explosives to clean up the ship before deleting the world. As you can see, this event ended up being absolutely insane. The feedback we got was shockingly positive, and everybody was very impressed with how the event went. And honestly, so was I. I had a vision of what I wanted it to be in the end, and honestly, it held up. It ended up being exactly what I wanted it to be. While watching the ship finally get dissolved into a red matter explosive, I came up with the following week's event, the World Schematics Tournament, a 1v1 bracket tournament to determine the strongest player on the server. You're gonna want to keep an eye out for that in the future. But for now, this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Woo! Finished! I'm definitely going to develop carpal tunnel, aren't I? That was a lot of blocks to place.